Well, we have gathered here this afternoon to fiddle for you. And I'm going to have this fella right here.
I don't hear you.
Can you hear me? Check, check, check. There we go. Can you hear me now? Barely. Can you hear me on this one? Maybe I'll talk on this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to have, we'll just go down the line here and I'll have everybody kind of say who they are, where they're from, and fiddle some tunes for you. We'll just start down here with Ralph, I guess.
Okay, first I'd like to I want to introduce John Lilly, my guitar player here with me.
And I'm going to introduce Ralph Blizzard, my fiddle player, here with me.
Well, I'm from Blunkville, Tennessee, near Bristol, Johnson City, Kingsport, in the northeast part of the state. And that's up in the mountain region. And I do what I call the Appalachian mountain longbow fiddle, traditional style. So that's about a description of it.
Show them how it goes.
Well, how about the sugar tree?
Sounds good.
Sugar Tree Stomp. Arthur Smith wrote that?
Yeah, that's one Arthur Smith.
That's what I thought. He was a very famous... We're not working here, I don't think, too well. Anyway, this is... You want me to talk into this one or this one? This one? Okay. Arthur Smith, that tune he played there was written by Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith was a fiddler from Tennessee and a very famous fiddler. You know, that reminds me, you want to do another Arthur Smith tune, Blackberry Blossom. You want to do that? Since we're on Arthur Smith, I met Arthur Smith years ago, and I guess he passed away in about 72 or 3, I think it was. Wasn't it?
As long as 70, 71, somewhere around that.
Okay.
About somewhere around that.
Anyway, we'll do one of his tunes also. It was a very famous tune these days, Blackberry Blossom. Miss Dan Crary here on the guitar. Give Dan a hand, would you? My name is Byron Berline, so peace.
is Jamie Dans. I live in St. Paul. And anyway, I guess I'll sort of anchor it here with the northern end of things. My style kind of borrows a lot from Celtic music, but so did a lot of the northern fiddle styles that kind of got lost and absorbed in all the shopping malls as they encroached up in the north part. But say 7,500 years ago, you'd find a heck of a lot more fiddle players up in the northern states than you certainly do now. But it's hard these days not to play with a lot of different influences. I'm going to play a couple tunes that I love going in old fiddle tune collections and trying to see if there's still life in those tunes that are written down in books. And here's a couple old chestnuts that a lot of people kind of neglect because they probably were played till they're dying gay, but it's time to resurrect them. First one is Dunphy's Hornpipe, D major.
You know where that is? I don't know, D, G, and that other one.
Well, Byron can coach you on that. Okay, and then into... yeah, that's good. Thanks.
Dunphy. Jerry Dunphy.
And then probably play a couple times then.
What did you call that first tune?
Dunphy's, I think, yeah.
Dunphy's? That's, we call it, where you come from, Durang's hornpipe.
You're right, it's Durang's Hornpipe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But,
Durang's, Dunphy's.
I know, well, you know, I mean, these fiddle tunes all sound alike, you know.
Well, and Durang had to get out of town and change his name when he came north. You know.
When I played, I call it deranged hornpipe.
Well, let's see, I enjoyed that number, especially the title you fellow give it. I'll tell you, we'd like to do a number that's derived from the Irish, I guess, called Petty on the Turnpike.
certainly like those old-time tunes like that. There's millions of them out there. My dad was a fiddle player, and he played a lot of old-time tunes. I was raised up in Oklahoma, Kansas area, and my dad was a fiddler, and that's where I learned most of my tunes, and started off learning old-time fiddle tunes. And in the recent years, I've enjoyed writing fiddle tunes, and in fact, the last tape I made was a 22 tunes of original tunes and waltzes that I wrote and recorded. The title tune of that tape I made is a tune called "Jumpin' the Strings," and that's the name of the CD and tape. So I'll do that for you right now. I don't know whether Dan has practiced it or not, but we'll try it here. Key of A.
Okay, yeah.
I'll play another version of Ralph. That was a beautiful rendition. I thought that inspired me to try that one out too. Patty on the Railroad, you call it, right? Yeah. It's all. I've also heard. I had to check to make sure that it was the right thing.
I called it Patty on the Turnpike.
Oh yeah. That's why I got Durangs and.
But that's close enough.
Patty on. Anyway. Who cares what it's called?
that's a very, very good version, and that sort of demonstrates how the teams came over from overseas, and they got into our country here, especially in the Appalachian Mountains, from the east clear into the west, and the music changed itself into what the people felt in their location that they were, and a lot of them were isolated. And the number come down to me the way it did here, in my own version, like it did other mountain fiddlers. But basically what you got there is what comes from overseas. And that's the way our mountain music is, our Appalachian Mountain, our traditional music. That's everybody's version, every band is different. I grew up in an area in northeast Tennessee where Charlie Bowman was there. A lot of fiddlers within 10, 12-mile radius of me. Charlie Bowman, one of the famous old-time fiddlers, and John Dykes, and Dudley Vance, and such people as that. They all had different versions. They were all famous for certain tunes. But that's the appeal of traditional music. It's all different. Everything that everyone plays is a little bit different. It's not going to be exactly alike. John, let's do one here. It's certainly not like anybody else does that I do here. And probably one would claim to be like it, called Hell Among the Yearlings.
I'm not sure how much time we have here.
We got 15 minutes.
Oh, we do? It says 1:40 open.
Oh.
Can anybody tell us when we're supposed to be off?
Keep on fiddling.
Huh?
Oh, it says 1:40.
It says 1:40 on this sign down here. We don't want to go over. One more song. Maybe we should all do one together, huh? You guys know Ragtime Annie? Let's do that one. Oh, we'll all play it together. Oh, this too. Oh, I see what you're saying. Too far. I'll tell you a little brief story. You all have heard of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm sure, by now. Right? Yeah, okay. I had the privilege of doing this tune and Arnold directed a movie not too long ago. It was called Christmas in Connecticut. It was on Turner Network. I don't know if any of you saw that movie or not, but anyway, he's more known, of course, for his movies that he does. But he directed this one, and I've known Arnold for a long time, and he called me and asked if I would do a dance tune for him in the movie. I'm directing Byron. I said, sure. He says, all right, can you still fiddle, or are you wasting away to nothing? I said both. So anyway, I got to do this in the movie. Ragtime Annie. Makes a good one. We're all going to do it. Please.
We're all going over here to the workshop area. We'd love to meet you, and we will have some tapes and records for sale over there.
Over at the blue tent. The old-time fiddler plays from inside himself and plays himself. You know, that's all he's got to play. He don't read music. So I held the fiddle down here. All the sound that the fiddle will make will come through to here. Right up here, somebody does pegs. And you got to play from inside. You got to hear everything there is. That's my theory.
I've seen other fiddlers do that too, and but it's interesting to do.
Well, I've known of other fiddlers that have the same theory as that.
Well, you can if you hold it down here. You know, if you tune it, you don't hold it up here to tune. Use it up here. Well, you can. And
also,
a lot of people hold it down
I
here.
wanted to show you a question somebody just asked me about. We better might as well show the whole audience. How you hold the fiddle there easily. That's foam rubber on there. Just put on this tape. I did everything in the world I could think of. You know, I was getting the fiddle up here and down here and everywhere. And you set that there and for that stage, like I said. Drop it in bounce. That's a pretty good way to do it.
Any questions any of you have for any of us?
Yeah, do you know Golden Slipper?
Yes. Any other questions?
You ever sing along when you're fiddling? When you're holding it low like that, I found that it's easier to sing along when you're playing the fiddle rather than up in the traditional position. Do you ever sing when you play?
I don't sing when I play. Some people can. Bill Jameson, in our band called Dancing, playing guitar. We call them dance, keep the rhyme on the dancers and what we're doing too. I don't see how to do it, but I do not sing when I play fiddle.
No.
I never tried to develop that.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, it is. It's very hard.
Do you ever tune your fiddle to anything other than the traditional GDA and E? And
Yes.
so why do you do that?
Well, for me, I do it on particular tunes. For instance, if I do several tunes in the A cross the key. What I mean by that is you tune the E down to a C sharp, leave the A where it is, and then the D up to a D and the G up to an F. And,
What are some of the tunes you do in that sense?
Old Black Mountain Rag, Lost Indian, and I do a tune called Memories of Scotland, Crying Eagle. Gee, I've done probably several. I've got on my tape. I've got a couple tuned that way. A lot Memories of Scotland. So there's a lot of drones. And you just play two strings at once pretty much when you do that. And it's some fiddlers don't like it. I mean, because they figure it's going to throw your fiddle out of whack. You know what I mean? You have to tune the bottom two strings up a little higher, it puts a little added pressure on it, but it doesn't really.
It almost sounds like a totally different instrument.
Yeah, it does. And also, when I did Bonaparte Retreat, I had a 5-string fiddle, and I tuned that to a D, D-A, D, you know, just alternate D, the E down to a D, then an A, then a D, then an A, then a D, a C string down to a D, so it made it real nice cross tuning that way for Bonaparte Retreat. And you get a lot of really one string working off the other one that way. Works real nice. Yep.
But each of you go through maybe, I noticed 3 real different bowing styles, and maybe show some of the classic bowings that make you feel like a real typical that you're using, and what you're doing, how you're combining the notes.
Well, you know, when you speak of bowing, especially in fiddle playing, it's so difficult to describe, to teach the bowing of a certain way. We can all play the same tune, and we're all going to bow it differently. And when you learn it, you're probably going to bow it a little differently too. It'd be very difficult for you to sit here and get, you know, the bowing. Not that that's what you want to do, but I'm just saying, in general, a lot of people say, well, I need to know the bowing on that. What you do, you just work out the bowing that fits, that gets the results of that tune. Whereas in classical or something else, you know, it's a different story. And you
I might point out, really, the way I fiddle bow, I do what's called long bow.
Yeah, I know.
And you're not tied down to any kind of bow the way I do. Anything that comes out of you feel like you got to do it because it's not coming off the page. You just do what you feel. It may sound crazy to other people what you're doing, but on the compass. I've had some places that you can go, say, from here, from the tip to the pro. And sometimes you can do one note forward, one note back, or two notes forward, one note back.
Show that thing on your bow. Well, that little post you have there.
Well, I fixed this for the fiddle bow where the handle does slide out, because at different times I have a different bow grass. Sometimes I have the bow like that where you can't get away from where you're going pretty aggressive. And then other times it's just like that. So if you didn't like that,
But you know what he was talking about, you can approach the fiddle differently. For instance, you can do one long bow stroke and get this good all the notes. Like for instance, a little tune called Tom and Jerry. If you did. You know, that's passable. Or you can do it, you know, I'd rather do, you can do it real, with a Georgia type shuffle or a real short bow stroke. Play faster, I mean, it'd be a lot shorter bow stroke. Or you can get it a little more of a long, more of a rolling bow stroke. Do it that way. Or you can do a Georgia. That's what I call a Georgia shuffle. That's a different style altogether.
How would you distinguish between that short and the rolling?